Welcome and good afternoon. It's really good to see so many people here, and thank you for coming. My name's Will Sibley. I'm the Business Relationships Coordinator at LEAF, and we are recording this session for internal purposes, and we'll be sharing with those who couldn't make it. So there'll be a chance for those who couldn't come to watch, and we'd love to hear from you. So the audience, please do ask away with your questions. We've set some time at the end for a Q&A, so please do submit them in the chat function. I think it's the bottom right somewhere. So just to kick us off, by giving some background on LEAF and explain what the session is about. LEAF is a charity organisation working to enable and inspire sustainable and agroecological farming that is prosperous, enriches the environment and engages local communities. We do this for a number of ways through LEAF education, in demonstrating positive agroecological practices and connecting this with the public and younger generations through things like Farmer Time and LEAF Open Farm Sunday. We do this through LEAF Mark, our global assurance system, which is growing by the day, which is brilliant. And then also through our knowledge exchange and generation work streams with our farmer-led network of brilliant LEAF demonstration farms, which you'll be hearing from a few of those here today. So we know farming can bring many positive integrated solutions to the key issues that the industry faces. And it is paramount that farmers lead the way and be at the forefront of bringing those possibilities for more circular, integrated, prosperous farming that can benefit the industry and the wider society. So it's great to be working in this area. And it's also very important that the industry collectively supports farmers in that journey, and we help them in achieving that point of helping to answer those important questions. So for the past 3 years, in partnership with Corteva Agri-Science, LEAF has been delivering the Resilient and Ready programme to develop new and emerging sustainable farming champions to bring into the fold and showcase to the industry, to policymakers, to the wider public how farms can be bring the solutions for the challenges that we have. 4 farms took part, and each farm had their own unique journey in doing this, and they're still going through it now. I'm delighted to tell you that we are launching a second round of the project, and we're looking to recruit farmers to be a part of it. So more details on that at the end of the session. But first, in a moment, we'll hear from my colleague at Corteva, Caroline McCartney, and we'll also be hearing from Resilient and Ready graduates from year 1 and their experiences of the programme, and the technical support and the training and how they've adopted more sustainable farming practices to build resilience in their businesses and just to gain those great skills and confidence to be industry leaders. So thank you, and over to Caroline now.
Thank you very much, Will. I'll just make sure that you can hear me, yes?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's great to see so many of you on the call. My name is Caroline McCartney. I am the Corteva project lead for the Resilient and Ready programme. I am based in sunny Leicestershire, and I'm joined by a few of my colleagues on the call who would give you a wave, but I think they're hiding behind their cameras. I'm in the fortunate position to have watched the Resilient and Ready programme unfold over the last few years, and now I get the chance to be involved firsthand in the next cohort of farmers, which I'm really looking forward to. Working alongside LEAF with Corteva, it's been a great collaboration over the last 3 years, and we're really looking forward to continuing that relationship. So who are Corteva? Some of you on the call might think, well, who are these people? Who's this woman that's in this blue shirt? And for those of you who don't know, you are forgiven, because we're quite a new company, in fact. Corteva officially launched in 2019, and we're a global business formed from the joining of 3 major agricultural companies: Dow AgroSciences, DuPont Crop Protection, and Pioneer Seeds. We actually operate in over 140 countries globally, solutions in over 100 crops, 20,000 employees, and we serve 10 million farmer customers. So we've got good global reach. We have an extensive crop protection portfolio in the UK, as well as expertise in biologicals, nitrogen management, and seed. So when the business of Corteva came together, it was an opportunity to really define what we wanted to achieve as a company. And there was a very clear focus from day one on sustainability. Our purpose is to enrich the lives of those who produce and those who consume, ensuring progress for generations to come. That sounds like quite a big concept for a Friday lunchtime, and I apologize for that. But what it really is trying to say is, sustainable, regenerative, resilient is a really important concept for agriculture today. And not only do farmers face the burden of having to produce food for an ever increasing population, but we also desire food that is healthier, more nutritious, and produced in a planet-friendly way. And we need to support growers in achieving that. Farmers will always face challenges. In the last few years, the threats of extreme weather events, global pandemics, and ongoing conflicts have showcased the fragility of the global food system. So being resilient and ready, see what I did there, to take on these challenges with a robust business and forward-thinking mindset is what we should aspire to in British agriculture. So to partner with LEAF on this project and to work directly with some outstanding farmers that are really forward-thinking has allowed us as a company to understand the challenges that farmers face now and are likely to face in the future, and how companies like Corteva can support them. And with that, I'm going to hand back over to you, Will.
Thanks very much, Caroline. And yeah, brilliant to continue working with Corteva. I have just realised there's about 4 Will siblings in the audience, so I do apologise that there's only one. But great stuff. We'll now hear from our Resilient and Ready graduates, and I'd just like to kick off with Nick, if that's okay, and introduce you. That Nick is now a LEAF demonstration farmer, and he's the farm manager at Yattenden Estate on behalf of Velcourt, and manages quite a diverse enterprise covering 3,500 hectares in West Berkshire. And he's hosted LEAF Open Palm Sunday, and over the course of the program has taken up a number of different trials on things like biostimulants and nitrification and urease inhibitors, as well as mulches. So that's just a brief top line introduction for you, Nick, and welcome. Thanks for coming. I'd just like to start by asking, if you look back when you were thinking of applying last year, what were your thoughts as a farm in general, and what were your reasons for applying back then?
I think we got involved. I'd always been a member of LEAF for probably 10, 11, 12 years prior to getting involved in the program. So kind of always sat on the outside looking in, and sort of watch what was going on. I think we as a business, we're starting to look to the future. We could kind of see what was coming over the horizon in terms of policy. So the opportunity to get involved and work closer with the team at LEAF sort of, just came at the right time for us, really. We know we were going to have to make some changes to how we were doing things going forward. So to be able to work more closely and bring in, some different sets of eyes, some different views on how we were doing things, all just fell perfectly into place for us, really, is how we could, develop our business to face the challenges that were coming our way. And I guess that word resilience is the one that really applies to what we were trying to do, not only make our core farming business more resilient, but also, everything that sort of surrounded that as well. Our environmental offering, and particularly our engagement and how we communicated what we were doing. That was really, really important. That we, being a pretty large scale business, that that we certainly got better at doing that. So for us getting involved, there were a number of big wins that sort of happened to us quite quickly.
Yeah, no, that's great, and the word resilience popping up there a lot, and you can look at it in many different ways, whether it be the environmental, the financial, or the social. It's all connects and is really important. Being a part of it. And then you've made it. You're in. Back then, how was it across the course? There were different elements within the program, being the training and the technical support. Were there any sort of specific areas in terms of maybe practices, or whether it be biodiversity aspects across the whole farm? I know it's a large one, but any particular you'd like to go through your thinking at that point, and how they were progressed throughout the 3 years?
Yeah, I guess it seems an awful long time ago that we sort of started this back in, sort of pre-COVID. Our first meeting was pre-COVID, and then from there on, probably the following 12 months beyond that, generally everything was sort of done over Zoom. So, but the great thing about it was that we just managed to react and adapt to that, and pretty much keep going as we, albeit not quite as we planned, but just the ability to make things happen were great. I think what we really wanted to focus on was the environmental side of our business. So being able to have the partnership with Oak Bank, and being able to utilise some of their expertise in what we were trying to achieve was, really, really important for us. Off the back of that, we've now got a pretty large scale, you might say complicated environmental stewardship scheme, but definitely, ambitious is one of the key words that we'd put to that. And the support we've had there from Kirsty Brannan, who helped us on the ground, but also the support from some of their wider team, has really helped us to drive that forward, so we can deliver, over and above what we ever sort of set out to in the first instance. So, that was one of the key areas for us that, that we really, really utilised the expertise that we had available to us as much as we possibly could.
That's great and jam-packed, and I realise if you went through everything in more detail, we'd be here for a long time. But really great stuff from working with Oak Bank and the names that you mentioned. It was brilliant. And now, of course, you're a LEAF demonstration farmer, and we're really glad to have you in the network and into the fold. And I mentioned you've gone through LEAF Open Farm Sunday, and you've done different trials, but what's your feelings now that you're almost done with the 3 years and the long time that it's felt like? What are your plans looking ahead for the future, yourself personally and as a business too?
I think it opens up a whole load more opportunities for us to actually show off what we're doing. We spent best part of 3 years working towards this to get this into the position that we're in now. So, the ability to be able to use the demonstration farm platform to be able to actually show this and promote it a little bit. I think we all know at the moment surrounding our industry, there's an awful lot of talk, but the ability to better demonstrate some practice is really, really good. Being involved has really opened some doors up for us to attract some different audiences to be able to show that, and the ability for us to engage at some pretty high levels over the last 12 months has been really, really good. And hopefully we're all doing our own little bit to sort of steer where future policy is heading.
Yeah, no, that's great. And policy is certainly a really important part of it going forward with the industry at the moment in the UK. But no, it's brilliant to have you with us, Nick, and thank you very much. There'll be more questions to you as we go along, but I'd just like to move on to Andy. Andy Bason, who's also, I'm glad to say, joined us as a LEAF demonstration farm, the farm manager down at Newhouse Farm in Wiltshire. That's a 800 hectare estate with 300 hectare put into arable cropping in min-till system over the last 10 years, which Andy's been pursuing, and producing viable crops from quality meat. And another LEAF Open Farm Sunday host, and the recent journey has led to various areas, going to different environmental, habitat and biodiversity areas, as well as agroforestry, a silver pasture project going on with wildflower understories, which is brilliant and all sounds fantastic. So Andy, welcome, good to have you here too. the same question I'd posed to Nick, I'd love to pose to you. So if you look back at when the applications was in already were first launched, what were you thinking as a farmer at that time, and what were your reasons for applying for the program?
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, so we'd been a monitor farm for AHDB for 3 years, and that was the first time that we'd kind of done anything like that. And actually, when that came to an end, I was I really missed it. I really missed that kind of interaction and sort of showcasing the farm. And so we weren't LEAF members, but I've been sort of a bit like Nick, sort of looking in from the outside as to what was going on with LEAF. And the opportunity to join this project sort of came up at just the right time, as it did with Nick. And the thought of being able to sort of integrate with a wider audience again really appealed to me, and just sort of showcasing what we do as farmers. I think we're quite often sort of chastised for what we do, sort of in the press. And so, having spent my whole life farming, I sort of felt I owed it to the industry to kind of put our side of the story across. And it's something that's sort of totally sort of outside my comfort zone, or it was anyway. But I'm sort of warming to it now, and hopefully I'm getting better at it. But it was sort of everything came together at the right time. So I applied, and luckily got chosen as one of the farmers. So it was and it's been great. Yeah.
And thank you. And looking at it from the point of view of the kind of social side and perception that farming gets, is also really important, as well as policy and industry changes too. And then you made it, which is great. And going through all the years and various things at quite a high level you got up to, what were the specific areas that you wanted to look at, and how were they addressed throughout the program?
Again, we've had sort of access to lots of really experienced people, like Oakbank, like Andy Guy, the people that have been sort of pushed in our direction to help us, and it's been brilliant. It for me is what I needed. I needed that sort of hand holding to move our business forward. We were at a bit of a plateau, I suppose, with, like every other, a lot of other farmers, with yields and with inputs and pesticide use, all the kind of things that I talked about. But so we needed to move on, and I think I needed that hand holding, and that's exactly what we got with this project. We got advice from experts, and actually it wasn't always advice. It was just the encouragement to do what we were doing or want to do. So and that's what I needed. It's that encouragement. So. For me, that's been really a really important part of this project.
Yeah, great stuff. And then bringing it back to now, you've made it as LEAF demonstration farmer. What are your plans going forward now, Andy?
That's it now. That's it. I'm done.
We'll never see you again.
No. I mean, we're not resting on our laurels. I've got 40 Norwegian farmers coming to see me in a month's time, so that'll be interesting to see what kind of language barrier there is there. But it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to have, get people out onto our farm, show them what we do, talk about the business, talk about the industry, supporting our industry. So it's perfect. It's exactly where I want to be, and I'm under no illusion that we've still got a long way to go, but I think we've got everything in place now that we can push forward as a business and as an industry, and work hopefully more within the LEAF, under the LEAF banner, because I really enjoy it.
No, that's great, and I'm really glad to have you with us, as well as Nick. So thank you very much both. We were going to be joined by Harriet and Ben, who also took part in the Resilient and Ready programme. But sadly, there's been something come up on farm, so sadly they won't be able to make it today. But now I think we'll open the floor for questions. We've already received a few, which I can see, that have been sent directly to me, but do keep going to our audience if you want to ask questions. We've got a first quite broad touch one. I don't want to say broad touch, but what surprised you both the most for being a part of the project? it could be anything you like. What surprised you the most out of being a part of it, looking back? We'll start with Andy because he's got his microphone on.
What surprised me the most? I mean, I didn't really have any kind of preconceived ideas as to what was going to happen. It was, as we know, it's a completely new project. It was pretty much how I'd hoped it to be. I mean, I know that sounds like I'm towing the company line, but it really was. I wanted to get more people onto the farm, wanted to boost my own personal confidence, which it definitely has done. What surprised me? I don't know. I think what surprises me still now, and it's a really positive surprise, is I did a little sort of meet the farmer thing at a local mill that we supply at the weekend. And again, it's just, there's a definite thirst for knowledge there from the sort of wider audience, the general public, as to what we do. And I think we really do owe it to kind of bang the drum for British farming. And I think, that still surprises me a bit, for all the kind of negative press, that there's still a demand out there to know more, and I want to understand what we're doing. So that's not necessarily part of this project, but it's sort of integrated within this project.
Oh, that's great. And what about you, Nick?
I think probably the thing that surprised me the most, or maybe amazed me the most, was just the openness and the willingness from everyone involved in the program to help and support us and to get involved. We sat in many meetings over the sort of last 2 years, asking probably slightly left field and random questions, but there was always someone there to give an answer and support us and guide us in the right direction. So I think it maybe sounds a little bit cheesy, but to say we sort of formed not only a pretty good team involved with it, hopefully some sort of lifelong friends as well within the industry, which is sort of pretty important in what we do in agriculture. So I think just the willingness and the support that we got from everyone, that it just never ended. It sort of kept flowing the whole time. That was one thing that I was really pleased about. And really enjoyed that sort of real sort of team that we built.
Yeah, no, that's great, and it's asking questions, important questions, which might sometimes be quite hard to do. That comes with the social aspect, but also the confidence too. I'll just ask one more that we got earlier, and there are a few coming in. But in terms of the advisors and the advice you got, what degree was that sort of co-developed with you? I know that there would be advisors thrown at you, but in terms of a tailored approach to you, what was that like in working with them?
I think there was no shortage of advice on offer, and probably we all sort of utilised the advice in the areas that we wanted to. And I know, sort of talking, between both myself and Andy and the guys in Scotland, we all had different things we wanted to work on. So it's very much down to us exactly how we sort of chose that and how we made that happen. But I guess it's all interlinking, and that's the whole point here, is that it all overlaps, and making one decision in one area affects something somewhere else. So to be able to get a number of different heads involved in that decision making process was sort of great, and just helped us, gave another level of support in what we were trying to achieve.
That's great. Okay, we've got some questions. We've got one from Simon. What would the 3-year program look like, and is there a link somewhere? So perhaps Claire could answer this question, seeing as everyone, she's been in the program the longest.
Thank you, Will. I have. So yes, this program started with me and an ex-colleague of Corteva sitting in a hotel drinking coffee one day and thinking up this mad idea that we thought at the time, and look what it's turned into. So delighted that we did. And thank you all for coming along today. Really great to see so many faces. Yes, Simon. So partly the answer to that question is that we wait until we've selected the farmers to actually build what those programs look like, because this is a very tailored program, and we want to make sure that what we offer and deliver and how we support farmers is exactly what they need. So to some extent, the answer is it's fairly flexible. However, to give you a bit of a taster of what we did in the first cohort, perhaps that might be useful to know. So there was training involved. So we gave the farmers training in integrated farm management and in how to use the LEAF tools. For example, if they were going to go on to doing LEAF mark certification, but demonstration farmers do need to have that baseline understanding of IFM, of course, and be demonstrating IFM on farm. So we supported that through our own training and through the expert advice of one of our colleagues, who I think is on today, actually, Andy Guy, who is one of the experts that we built into the program as well. We also covered the cost of habitat and biodiversity reports and looking at what you have on farm and how that can be improved going forwards. Also soil health. So we worked with another organisation who did some soil testing, and we very much drilled into that space of looking at soil health and fertility. And then so we had the training, we had the testing and the expert advice, and then we also support the farmers to be able to tell their story. So the farmers also had speak out training to be able to share their positive stories across a variety of platforms. And in addition to that, we also supported farmers to hold their own events, or at least participated events, both virtual and on farm as well, leading up to that LDF, the LEAF demonstration farm launches this summer. So it's quite action packed. There is, you do need to be involved. So this isn't the kind of program if you want to sit back and let other people do it for you. The ask isn't huge, but you will need to give some of your time and you will need to be on board. The other thing I forgot, so sorry, on behalf of Corteva, is there's trials as well you can get involved in that suit you, that you are, we would never ask you to do trials that you weren't comfortable with, but if you are interested, then Corteva and others can arrange a number of trials. I think with this cohort, it would be a shame not to do some kind of focus on perhaps carbon footprinting as well. We did that with the first cohort again, and also looking at perhaps some of those regenerative outcomes on farms. You could look at things like diversity. So again, I think, yeah, the answer is it's very much dependent on who the farms are and what they want to achieve. But as a general idea, there will be training, there will be expert advice, and there will be support in hosting events and using social media and other platforms to be able to share your positive stories. Does that help, Simon?
That's great. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. While I've got you, are you keen? Are you thinking of applying?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Oh, good. That's great news. So brilliant. Just as a show of hands, is anybody else on the line perhaps keen? And if you've got any questions, please don't be shy, because we'd love to answer those for you. Appreciate it's a bit of a leap of faith, but actually you can hear from Andy and Nick that, well, they really did take a leap of faith, but you can hear their stories and appreciate that, hopefully it added some value for their businesses. And please do ask any questions and don't be afraid to ask any obvious questions, etc.
Thank you, Claire. And I guess leading on from commitment, which sometimes can be a challenge, what were the biggest challenges for you, Nick and Andy?
Sorry, can you say that again? I've just cut out.
Oh, apologies. What were the biggest challenges for you across the programme, do you think?
I don't think there are probably any different challenges that we're doing on a day-by-day basis anyway. So, as Claire said, you sort of get out what you're prepared to put in. So the more you put in, the more you get out. But yeah, in terms of specific challenges, nothing that I was certainly over concerned about, or I look back on and thought was anything more difficult than what we were doing anyway. So yeah, certainly nothing to worry about anyway.
And Andy, I don't know if you have anything to put there.
I was just going to say the obvious COVID one. We had the COVID thing thrown at us pretty quickly, and which we worked around it very well, I think. But it did prove to be a challenge, certainly at the early stage of the program. And it also meant that, when we came to the end of the programme this June, we had an action-packed, manic June because we had lots to try and cram in, which was great, and I really enjoyed it. But there were no real challenges as far as the kind of setup of the programme goes.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I guess farming is a challenge. That's partly why the programme exists, isn't it? So no, that's great. So we have one question about applications, but we've also got a question from Leah. Can we apply this to protected growing? I think we definitely can. It's a form of farming, and certainly prevalent in the UK. It's just a different form to perhaps the two mixed arable businesses we have here. I don't know whether Claire's background is in partly that area, so I don't know if you have a response to that question.
Yeah, well, I think I've just popped in the chat there. Yes, this project can apply to anybody. So please, no matter what your shape or size of your business is, no matter where you are geographically, no matter if you're farming on rented land or your own land or whatever, it doesn't. We want to hear from all types of farms. So yes, it can apply to horty, can apply to mixed, uphill. Please do all apply.
And just to add to that, you don't need to be a LEAF member.
You don't, no.
Any farm is able to apply.
As an added perk, just to let you all know that your 3 years membership will be paid for you. So yes, you don't have to be a member.
Great. I think we got a question from Ellie. How has the programme benefited and impact your wider team? So I've met some of Andy's team and never met Mick's, but yeah, your wider team and how they've got involved as well. How have they been impacted and benefited from the programme?
Shall I go first? Yeah. So right from the start. I mean, it's always been a team goal at Newhouse Farm that kind of everything we do is we had a team meeting this morning just sort of discussing harvest and how that went, and it's always been the way here. I wouldn't have gone into this if I didn't have the backing of my team. I'm pretty confident they've got as much out of it as I have, and we're looking to sort of go up to the next level and push forward, with being a demonstration farm. It wouldn't work if we weren't a team. So that's not to say that every farm's the same, but that's how we are at Newhouse.
Exactly the same from us. We just don't. I don't do this on my own. It takes everyone to be all on the same page. So it's really important that the whole team around us are engaged in what we're doing, and all on the same journey with us. It just doesn't work otherwise.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's great to know that your team members are getting involved too, and it's having an impact on them. Great. Question from Manal on encouraging international farms to engage. I think at the moment it really would be only UK farms to apply. Please correct me if I'm wrong there, Caroline or Claire, but it's just UK at the moment. Okay, I think I've got everyone's questions. We've got Tim there from the Earth Trust hoping to apply, but if there are any further questions that might come up in people's heads, please do ask away by contacting me or Caroline directly, and or Nick and Andy, and we're very happy to answer the questions.
Can I just come in there, because it would be great to just put some more response to Manal there, if that's okay. So this project is UK only, Manal, but we are in the process at LEAF at looking at how we build that, or how we expand that demonstration farm model overseas. So in another project that we're doing, we're looking for one farm overseas to become a LEAF demonstration farm, specifically on the journey to net zero, and we are looking at how we could roll out that model of LEAF demonstration farms overseas. whether that might be virtual, etc. So although this project is UK only, please rest assured that we are looking at other projects or other pieces of work within LEAF to look at how we also launch international demonstration farms as well.
Okay, great. So just to let everyone know, we are launching a call for applications today. So later today, please do look out on the LEAF website as well as the Corteva website and all our socials, and there'll be a call for applications and the applications available. So please do look out for those if you're looking to apply. And applications will close on the 4th of November. So jot that down. That's how long you give it. But please don't leave it to the last minute, because it's just more nicer on our side. We've got one question from Andy. When does the next cohort start the program? They will start in January. So applications would close on the 4th of November, and then 2 months of various shortlisting processes on our side, and then we should have our cohort in place just before Christmas, and we'd hope to get things going in January, which I think was a similar process for the first year. So that answers that question. Okay. If there are no more questions, I think we can leave it there. But just to say again to everyone, thanks very much for coming. It's really great to see so many people with interests in this second cohort, and we really want to hear from you. So again, please do look out on our website and social channels, and please ask more questions if you like about applications or the program as a whole. In the meantime, I think we'll leave it there, but thank you very much to Andy, Nick, Claire and Caroline. It was a great session, and until next time, hope to hear from you all soon. Thank you.